I always say like doing like a whole bunch of different voices because like it kind of feels like my throat's getting clogged up.
Oh.
I hate doing that a lot of the time.
Alright, so here you want more story time. So in addition to, like, me being sick, which I'll spare you most of the details to that, well, let me give you some backstory. Remember on New Year's, I did the New Year's stream. And then I went to bed that night, or that morning, rather. And I noticed my right arm was a little bit sore, and I thought I must have been sitting in a funky position all night, because that was, like, probably the longest stream I've ever done. And, so I went to bed, and I woke up, and I had pain in, like, my right shoulder. And, hold on, let me pick this team. Let me decide first. I can already tell Blaziken is going to be the bane of my existence.
Okay, I've returned.
I don't know. I have a couple of mons here that can cause you a lot of problems.
Yeah, like most of them. So anyway, on the New Year's stream, so after that, the next day, my right arm was sore, like right around my right shoulder. And the thing I immediately thought of was in 2014 I had separated my shoulder and I got shoulder surgery, and my immediate thought was maybe I screwed something up, and you know it might still be sensitive there even though it's been a few years. But it got to the point where it was excruciating pain, where I had a hard time lifting my arm all the way up with full range of motion. And it reminded me of the pain that I felt after my surgery, so it was kind of freaking me out. So I, later that, I forget whether it was the next day or later that night, the pain was getting so bad, so I was looking up stuff online, my parents were looking up stuff online, and I actually started getting a fever, just like not quite a fever, it was like 99, it might have gotten up to 100. So really low-grade fever, if anything. And what my mom found was just some anecdotal evidence of someone who had similar unexplained shoulder pain. It was like they had gotten sick, and then supposedly they had gotten an infection, and the pain went to the shoulder. And I guess that might have been what I got as well, because I don't know, that's the only possible explanation I can think of. And so tying that back into this week is the fact that this week I've had the same thing. Well, I was sick until Monday, and like yesterday I got that pain in my shoulder again to the point where I couldn't lift my arm. And in fact, it still kind of hurts to lift my arm, but I can do it. But now the pain there, now I have a little bit of pain in my tricep. I don't know, it's a weird thing. I was like very extremely sick though last week. So, last weekend. So I'm not surprised. Okay, what do I do?
I don't know, but I know what do you do?
I probably just take the hit, honestly.
You take the hit. Oh.
I think I just take the fall. I sack it off.
My internet is lagging.
I lived? I
I
lived? I wouldn't have gone for Seed Flare because of that accuracy. Randy, hey, how you doing?
What was that?
Phantom King, no, I never once had that incident, like that sort of thing happen to me prior to my surgery, and I hadn't had it from 2014 all the way to the beginning of 2017. I had never had that pain before. So, but I would imagine that if it is one of those infection things, it would be more, maybe that area is more susceptible to it because it's a place where I have had surgery. And Randy, I'm doing pretty well. We're just talking about various ailments though, because I've been pretty sick over the past weekend, and I've been better this week, but I was just talking about this weird pain I had in my right shoulder.
Mine was been yesterday when I thought I was having a heart attack.
What? Oh yeah, that reminded me, didn't you say you had a story? A crazy stream time story?
Oh, did I?
Yeah.
Yeah, you said
yeah.
something was happening that you had a story for.
Oh, I guess I have 2 stories now.
You have 2 stories.
I'll talk about the first one. So, like, apparently, like, I think it was like a week ago, maybe a little more, we sold our car, which had a lot of problems, so we sold it for cheap, right?
Mm-hmm.
Past few days, like 2 days ago or so, I don't know how she found it, but she found our same car being sold for $5,000 when we sold it for like $300 or something ridiculous like that, because it was so broken. And he was like, but the crazy part was the guy was saying, I've had this car for 11 years, it was my wife's, blah blah blah.
By the way, it's Felicia Lol, thank you for the follow.
Like,
wait,
they're saying like it was theirs the entire time.
So they're just telling these stories
pretty much
just to try to get more money?
And they're then they were just like, yeah, this runs perfectly, when we know that they're completely broken. $5,000. I
was gonna say, unless they got it fixed, but I doubt that they would be spending the money to fix the car if they are telling stories.
They would be spending more money to fix that car than they're selling. So like, it was really weird because and then we get another text from someone who bought it off them or something. I don't know the entire story of that one, but this guy's like, yeah, my stepdad owned it, blah blah blah. I'm like, huh? Who are you? Some other different guy just comes in here telling.
Did I predict right or did I predict wrong? I predicted right.
And it's just a really weird situation. My mom was so pissed. So I swear to God, people, I will call my lawyers. Nah, don't you touch. I've never.
I think I just straight up lose here. I think I just straight up lost.
Also, it's the team. Yeah, I guess. I mean, I guess the hurricane was pretty bad. Like in some places, it was pretty bad. Honestly, around my area, it was not too bad at all. I mean, it was pretty standard hurricane stuff. Some places got some wind damage. In my area, it was kind of sporadic. Like, and by the time I got home, a lot of stuff was cleaned up. But like, you'd get everything looking fine, and then a few trees blown down here or there. Like the rink where I skate got a little bit of wind damage and some flooding, just kind of minor. So, but my house actually never lost power. I guess we lost cable and internet for a while, but we never lost power. The rink lost power for a couple days, but that was it. So, I don't know. All things considered, and at least in the Central Florida area, it wasn't too bad. I mean, especially, I mean, we got lucky that it went up the west coast of Florida instead of the east coast, but it wasn't nearly as bad for us as they were making it out to be. Now, that doesn't mean it wasn't bad in other places, and it's always bad over in the Caribbean islands, but it ended up being, fortunately, not the complete death machine that it was made out to be, which is good. I mean, rather they play it up too much and then not be too big of a deal.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah, I think I lost.
It was crazy though. I was in China, and like pretty much the only channel in English in our hotel room was CNN, and it was the international version of CNN, so they weren't, you know, really just talking about American news, but the hurricane was the only story. It was the only news story, apparently, in the entire world worth covering. It was that much build-up.
What was the name of this hurricane?
The one that hit Florida was Irma.
Yeah. I know it was a horrible situation, but I always find these videos where they just show like a trampoline flying in there here and like, thanks, Irma!
Oh yeah, didn't someone say, oh yeah, a trampoline landed in my backyard, and I don't own a trampoline.
Yeah. Just this video just like comes in like a flying saucer, like whoa, whoa, and lands perfectly. It was the funniest thing.
Wait, this isn't gonna one-shot though, is it, or is it? Oh, it is. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I lost.
Reshiram, or no, Xerneas is nuts. I'm so glad, SirAkihiro, that you gave me Xerneas instead of Arceus.
I lost.
Ooh, purple Darkrai. Guys, this is pretty much a pretty good recreation of that showdown battle that I was telling you about.
And AJ was saying how Xerneas is stronger.
I was so happy to battle too, and I used to have women like that.
Xerneas for best Pokemon?
Did you?
I think I do this to you.
Yesodano?
I think you meant
Yes,
Yveltal,
Yesodano.
yeah.
I was joking. Like, I know Xerneas is stronger. Geomancy, that's broken. I just prefer Yveltal design. But I'm just kind of sad because X and Y, these two legends are like one of the most forgettable legends we have right now. At least for me.
I made a prediction. Let's see
You
if it
weren't
pays
that
off or
normal.
not.
Like the other legends.
Hopefully it
remember
doesn't.
them very well.
Yeah,
These two.
I got your number.
Oh, it slipped my mind.
Look at that golden chicken.
Am I the only one?
Why did I do this to me? Stop it. You all spit me. You heard y'all spit me regardless. I'm just trying to.
I was trying to get around your protect.
Am I the only one that's like that with Xerneas and Yveltal?
What?
Where you
I
think
was
that it's a
thinking-
shame that they're forgettable?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I
Like-
think some of it has to
Whoa.
do with the fact that really they weren't much involved in the story, even though they were the center of
Exactly.
the story. They were the center of the story, but they only appeared the one time that you battle them and catch them.
Exactly. Like these two are like the most forgettable legends for me out of every book.
Forgettable legends? What are you talking about? How
As,
can
as
I-
far as box art legendaries go,
Like,
I know what you
Not
mean.
relevant. No, like forgettable as in like these two would be the last on my mind when I think of like box.
Well, I mean, you think of it this way, with Groudon and Kyogre, you see them multiple times before you actually take them on. And there's all this, like, they just talk about them by name half the time. So, yeah, I mean, I know what you mean, like, when you compare to that. Now, I mean, a lot of the legendary Pokemon don't get a whole lot of screen time before you actually go and battle them. But I'd say Gen 3 and Gen 5 did kind of the most of that, where you kind of build up to these legendary Pokemon so they feel more significant.
Yeah.
Alright. GG, SirAkihiro! Thank you for
Yeah.
giving us a demonstration of Xerneas' awesomeness.
I didn't agree to a demonstration.
I think
didn't
Xerneas
agree
might
to
be
it.
my new favorite Uber.
I didn't agree to any demonstration. Send
guess
help. I got
Lugia-
abused.
I guess Lugia and Ho-Oh
Someone
are
call
the same
911.
way. Like you only see them once and battle them.
Yeah, well,
But
like,
then they had remakes. So
Right,
that helped them out.
in the original Gold and Silver, they were basically optional. You never even had to know
Yeah.
they existed.
Yep. But they were just more memorable because in the I think it was the anime that made them more memorable because they were shown more in the anime. Or at least Lugia.
Well, Lugia
was.
got his own movie.
But
But Ho-Oh was seen in the first episode, so I mean, you can't really
That's right.
top that.
Can't really. It was in the first episode before that generation came out.
Right.
Ho-Oh was like, sup, I'm from the future.
Right.